Hi, Rohan. Thank you for joining us, and congratulations on your admit to ISB.
Hello, Shruti. Thanks a lot. Thanks for inviting me here.
Yeah. So, please tell us about your profile, your work experience, and your interests.
So I'll give you a brief introduction about myself. So hello everyone. So my name is Rohan Khandilwal. So I'm an engineer. I did my BTech from NIT Bhopal. I'm a class of 18 graduate. And after I did my specialization was into electronics and communication background. And post that I worked at Bharti Airtel. I started off my career at corporate career at Bharti Airtel 2018. I worked there for a year basically, and then I switched to Qualcomm India Private Limited into 5G domain. Then I worked there for around 2.5 years, and then I moved to GOALisB, which is a blockchain-based startup. And and which is where I started preparing for my GMAT and my MBA journey. And currently, I'm working in the gaming industry at Ruby 7 Private Limited. I'm a product manager, and yes, I head the casino division.
Okay, please tell us about your decision to pursue an MBA and why did you choose ISB?
Decision to pursue MBA. So it was a culmination of a lot of factors. It might be long answer. I'll try to give you. So because it was there in my mind since I joined Airtel. So I joined Airtel in 2018, and I met people who were there from ISB or were going to ISB. So I used to interact with them. I used to hear a lot of good things about ISB. I used to hit the gym with one of my colleagues who was from ISB Mohali, and he used to wear that hoodie with ISB Mohali written on it. So I used to interact with him a lot, and which is where my inclination towards ISB grew. Uh, because I was meeting such exciting and interesting people, and I heard a lot of about ISB in total from a lot of people in my family as well. And so, which is where it was there in my mind, but I wasn't preparing for it because after 9 months at Airtel, I got the opportunity to move to Qualcomm, which was into a new domain altogether into 5G. Then after 1.5 years, I was promoted. I was a team lead because one of the senior guys left. And then I was directly interacting with the product program managers. I was into the meetings with them. And which is where I got the first hit. I got the trigger that because they were discussing about the terms which I didn't know, which were from the finance background, from the marketing side, or how to operations or strategical point of view. Because till my level, I was dealing with technological stuff, technology problems, technological solutions. But when I used to attend those meetings, I used to feel that I'm missing this thing. I don't know about simple financial terms which their jargons they're throwing. So obviously, there's this thing which you can learn on the grow or like on the road, or people tell you you can learn while doing, but I was getting that hit that I'm not able to contribute. I'm just trying to learn what people are saying to me. And which is then, so in my introduction, I forgot to tell you as well that I was also the part of uh, cricket from like for my district level days from under 14, under 16. I used to represent my college at national and zonal levels. And I was also part of Qualcomm's cricket team as well, which is where I again found two of the ISB alums. They also used to tell me the same things, same exciting things. And we used to go to Infosys Park for some tournament, alternate weekends, which is just across the ISB campus. So they used to drive me to that place and then they come back. And I was always hearing the such nice things about it. So when I first got this hit, I'm not able to contribute, I'm not able to learn from those meetings, I'm missing this thing. So I shared with them, and which is there they told me ISB is the next thing you should be doing, and you should be visiting, you should be learning from there. An online course or say part-time MBA won't be that helpful because the peer learning won't be there, the exposure won't be there, the alumni network, that huge alumni network you won't be getting other than a few IMs or ISB in India. So which is where that MBA came into picture. And I also got a suggestion like because you are in such a big company like Qualcomm or Airtel, try a startup as well where you can get more of the client handling side, client facing roles. So which is where I made the switch to CodeLeaf, which was then that time like 30-member startup. One of my seniors was running it, so I was very in a very good position and a very good place where I could lead the team of engineers, and I was directly interacting with the business and account managers and the BAs and the directors of the clients, technological directors of the client side. So this is where I started my preparation for GMAT, and from the hindsight, I was also working to get more exposure so that I can be more adapt on the business management side as well. Coming to why ISB, so generally what is like people prepare for GMAT, then they choose a basic based on their score and profile, which target school they want to appear to or like apply to. For me, it was the vice versa, opposite case. I knew I want to go to ISB, and how to get there was through via GMAT or GRE. So I got to know, okay, I have to get a good GMAT score. Average score that year was around 710. So I kept in my mind like anything above 710, I'll be happy. Beat 720 or beat 750. I won't be going for another reappearing, or like I won't try to push myself hard on that, because my all the colleagues used to tell me that profile is major part of the application. So I think, yeah, this was it where MBA came into picture and why ISB. And it was my only target school. I didn't target any other school because for me it was the only B school, the B school. So because it was there in my mind since 2018. Yeah.
So that was point in your career. You could have targeted an MBA abroad. So, what were the criteria that make you choose an ISB versus an MBA abroad?
There are a few factors to it. One, like, I don't want to sound homesick or something like that, but I like India a lot. Very basic reason I'll give you: when I was in my final year of BTech in 2018, uh, an application was launched, Google Pay. It was one of the first application which a tech giant like Google launched in India, which was a product specifically for India. Until that time, I used to remember what used to happen was people were creating products for Western countries or other marketplaces, and those were being replicated for India. But that time I felt that people are actually making products which are pro-Indian for our population, our consumer bases, and our users. So I thought at that point of view that there's a shift. There will be a time in future, because we are such a huge economy, we are such a huge consumer base. There will be products which will be pro-Indian. I can grow and I can achieve my things and whatever I aim to be. And as I mentioned, like all throughout the way throughout my corporate journey, I was hearing such good things about ISB. I just didn't want to think about anything. I just couldn't think about anything else. So I was decided to stay back, and I wanted to be in India. And I think for the experience which I had, I have around 4.5 years of experience as of now. So that left me with IIM Ahmedabad, Executive MBA 1 year, and with ISB. And then, as I was already inclined toward ISB, so I didn't think about it. So it was like I thought if I don't get into ISB R1, then I'll try for IIM Ahmedabad R2, or if not, then I'll again for try ISB in the next year's R1, something like that. So yeah.
Right. So, as a working professional, how did you go about preparing for the GMAT? What were the challenges that you faced, and what should be a good way of taking up this preparation?
Okay, so GMAT, I think I started preparing back in 2021 ka September, I think. Yes. So because I made the switch, I was into that was a remote working switch, complete organization. So I was in my hometown. I was in a comfortable position. Like I can work, and then I didn't have any household chores or anything like external things were not affecting. I just had to work, chill, enjoy, sleep. That was the sleeping like my routine at home. So I would like to say that my mother has really helped me for the preparation, because she was the one. She inspired, like told me, take this remote working job because you want to apply for an MBA. That will require some. You need to dedicate some extra time to that. Come back to Bhopal, my hometown, and study here, live with us, so that can give you some extra 2 3 hours to prepare. Every the how difficult it was coming from an engineering background, having cracked JE or those exams, right? I was thinking English ही तो है, maths तो आसान है, रोज ही करते हैं. So in a month's time, I just gave it by fluke. I thought, okay, let's give an attempt. I think I was very overconfident. I won't like I'll give you a very honest answer that I was very overconfident. I used to think, "अरे, हो जाएगा." I remember first time I clocked 600. I was devastated. I thought मेरे से तो quant भी नहीं बन रही है. English तो वैसे भी नहीं आती थी. So this is where I think in November, I started my hardcore preparation because I was like, कि अब तो job भी switch कर लिया है. It's now or never kind of situation. And to read. So basically, I started in November. I think I first, as I mentioned, right, I was very overconfident. I thought मैं तो कर लूंगा. I didn't even took mock test or say any subscription. But then I realized this thing is not that easy. I won't say it's a tough paper. It's a very tricky paper. It tests your patience basically. So being an engineer, I would say what used to happen, it used to hit my ego sometimes if I'm not able to do a question. And then I'll, rather than just guessing and then moving on to the next question, I used to spend 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes, or 4 minutes on some of the questions just to get those probability questions right. What used to happen that they used to affect my next other questions which were in the pipeline, and I won't be able to do that in time. And then my percentile used to drop. So I subscribed to eGMAT, I think. Yeah, first question, first was for eGMAT. I was so also like I was in touch with a lot of people from ISB and alums and other people. So they told me about these coachings, eGMAT and TTP also. They told TTP is good for quant and eGMAT will give you a good understanding of the verbal section. Also go for OG official guide. So I bought that. And they told me go for Manhattan test series. Those are very good. I would suggest everyone to go for that. I think is 6 or 7 tests are there, and those are very tough, like actual GMAT level questions, which I can say. And the timing is very good on that, and you'll get a good feel on like if you are getting 680, 700 odd on Manhattan test prep, I would say you can attempt the GMAT. Just go for your GMAT then, because that's again a very luck based, I would say, because I would say on the same day you can get 680, on the same day you can get 750 as well, because it's just a matter of 2 questions. If you do 2 questions wrong in a continuous way, like back to back, then you'll go to 680. There's no coming back from it then. So if you're good, you're consistently hitting 700, then go for your GMAT. And this is where I did my preparation. So I started from November. I gave my second attempt in March, again failed, 650. I rejected the score again, and that is when second attempt after then I started my Manhattan test series, that prep. So I did all the 700 plus questions, and I used to spend more time on the verbal side, because having very hands-on, being like preparing for the engineering exams and everything, and working engineering exams in semester wise as well, right? So I had that idea. On a good day, I can get 51 on 51 in quant. On a bad day, I'll get 50. That was my variation. But I used to feel that I was from 32 in V32 to V40, 42. There was a huge variation. So I wanted to dedicate more time to verbal. So I used to read a lot. And I'm not sure if it is correct. I was given this advice from a few people that uh, dedicate a lot of time on RCs. They say that RC drives your score. So I'm not sure if it's true, but I dedicated a lot of time on RCs, because on sentence correction, either you'll know or you won't be know. So that you can do in 45, 50 seconds. Don't spend more than that. And then reading comprehension is the thing that you should be working a lot on, which is what I did in my third attempt. I did all of the OG reading comprehensions which I could. And then I got a lot of more books from my friends as well. OG from 2018, 2019. I did a lot of RC. I didn't do any verbal, I would a quant, I would say, but I was working very much on my RCs. Then I gave my third attempt on July 7th. Yes, a bit skeptical, superstitious. That was Mahendra Singh Dhoni's birthday. I thought this is the day I can give my GMAT. So I gave that day and I got 720. The screen just pops up, something like that. And 720 was my aggregate score.
What do you think makes a strong application, and how did you approach your essays?
Strong application and approach towards essay. So I would say, coming from an engineering background, general male, IT, everything, right? I used to feel that I have a very common profile. That's a very basic things. Any person with such like who has done engineering from NIT or into IT sector or has been a developer, something like that. So how will I stand out? How will I be myself? I used to think for me the question will be why do you want to be like why do you want to do an MBA? So how will I convince everyone? So in that process, what I used to do, and you have helped me a lot in that process because I used to I used to plan out things which I was not. If you remember, the R1 deadline was 4th September. And on 1st of September, I came back with a lot of changes in my essay. I brought up things like I've given a lot of time to, I've developed open cricket in my college. I've developed a few things which I was not, which I didn't do, but I wanted because of the inferiority complex, right? I was thinking that how will I get selected? And this is where you come into picture, and GOALisB and the entire team has helped me. The ingredient for a strong application is to be you. Try to sell your genuine self. Don't try to tell yourself you are an overachiever, or don't try to tell things which you are not. Basic thing is to be yourself. Try to sell your genuine self. And I remember you that day, 1st September, I remember you told me, Rohan, bhul jao. Application tum bhul jao. Interview call se nahi aayega. And that was the moment I understood ki, yeah, because whatever I've written, whatever I'm trying to tell them, it's not me. They'll catch it in a minute. Okay, this guy is fake. He's trying to fake it. This is not actually what, because you will be giving the interview as well, right? You cannot fake it there. And those are very seasoned professionals. They will catch it in a minute. And this is where, and I remember when I approached GOALisB, you sent out a questionnaire where you wanted me to highlight everything which I have done in my career till now, starting from my school days or under 14 cricket days. You wanted me to mention everything which I have done, small or big, and which is where we came up with such stories about my t-shirt business, like my cricket exposure, leading my college into national tournaments, or how can I be more confident about what technological work I have done, and how we can use that in the BTC club at ISB, and how my NGO work, little NGO work which I done, you told me that that can be impactful. So because of that inference complex, I was trying to do something which I was not, portray something which I was not, but actually which I had was pretty good. And you made me realize that, and that's why I think we made a very good. I do read whenever I'm like telling my interview experience, or my juniors or someone asks me, I do share my essays with them. I'm very proud of it. I don't know why, because I like it. I like how, because that's actually myself, what I've done in the entire college, school, or say corporate journey. Na? So that is why I think that's what make an application strong. Try to sell your genuine self. That's it I would like to say.
Right. And what about the ISB interview? What was the experience like, and what is a good preparation, or how did you prepare for it?
So again, this has to be like I'll dedicate a lot of things to you, because I think in the last interview, the mock interview which we had, so you asked me that ki, what is something which is not there on your application? Tell us one thing which is not there on your application, something like that. And I told you about that one idea which I was working on, about that having that animation and everything on the gaming field and those things. We talked a lot about, talked to the like lengths and breadths of it, and I asked your inputs on it, and you actually liked the idea. I was very confident. Okay, people like the idea. So coming to my interview experience, it wasn't like the ones which I've heard or like people have given. I wasn't asked why ISB. I wasn't even asked why MBA or any of the basic questions. There was none of the conventional questions. They started off with okay, there's a short story as well. So I entered the room. There were two alums, one from class of 18 and one was from class of 10, I think. And they asked me like, you have been at Hyderabad, you have worked in Qualcomm. So is this your first time at ISB? So I told them yeah, physically I'm here for the first time, but in my dreams I've been here multiple times. And then it started off like a comical way, as a joke. They both laughed, they smiled, and then I was also like, okay, it can be like an informal talk now, because it started off a good tone. So, and then they skipped the initial questions about myself or where background and everything. They started questioning about my current job role, about the company, how do you influence things, what decision making powers do you have. And then the entire interview evolved around that. How will you pitch it? How will be the product marketing will be like? What will be the strategy? Now you are in product manager of this product. How will you drive the roadmap? What will be the prioritization? How will you? What will the customer segmentation? How will you attack the user bases and those things? It was the entire interview. Uh, After 5 minutes of the intro session, revolved around this. They actually liked the idea, which I think now I can say. At that time, I was very skeptical because it was not like the interview which I was anticipating, and other people had got coming out of their lobbies were saying that. So I thought, I'm not sure if I did well, because they didn't ask me about any conventional questions. They were just asking about my idea, how will you pitch it? Now, how do you like product marketing, product strategy, product roadmap, everything. And that was my interview experience. So just to give you a brief, so my interview was on like 23rd October. I had selected Hyderabad as my um, interview center.
Destination.
So I was invited to Hyderabad campus, and yeah.
Right. So, are there any myths that you think, you used to believe something which has been proven wrong over this period, over this journey?
Is like the first thing which I mentioned. Like I used to think that I'm very generic person. I don't have anything which is stand out. How will I convince people that I am the one? I'm coming from Indian male general engineer. I used to think like I was getting those vibes, right? Uh, it's very difficult for me. How will I get into? And what was the fear factor was that I had only one target college. I wasn't applying to any other college, so it was like all or nothing kind of situation. So I used to think, how will I stand out? Just try to sell what you are. Just let them know what you have done. You have done enough, and that's very cool. So that was the one myth I would like to share with everyone. So believe in yourself. Just believe what you have done. Try to work on the skill building part. Don't exaggerate anything. Try to build your skills. Start, yeah, whatever you have done. Try to communicate those in a better way and be yourself. Because if you're trying to tell if what you haven't done or what you are not actually, so they'll get to know, because they're interviewing from a long time. They're into the industry. Like one of my interview member was from class of 10. So you can say around 12 years of corporate experience she has. So they will catch them. So they do this on regular basis. So one myth which I had, ki how, and another like which is like on the same line as well. How will I convince people I am an engineer, and how will I convince other interview panel or myself as well? Why do I want to do an MBA now? How does that connect? Working into 5G and blockchain. Now you want to do business consultancy or like into business consulting domain. You want to switch. Like how I addressed this was, earlier I just knew that I want to go to ISB. I didn't know what ISB will offer me. I didn't know what prospects ISB will have post MBA. I didn't know what I'll be doing. I just knew that I want to go there. So don't do that actually, which is a wrong way. What should, like you have helped me in the process is you actually give me insights, and like you being an ISB alum has helped me a lot in that way, because you told me what ISB is, what ISB offers, what prospects you have after that, how the life at ISB is, what clubs, what culture, what diversity comes in. So I after knowing that, right, I was very sure, okay, this is what I'm actually missing in my life. And if I get this, I can take my career from here to there, where I want to be. And that has helped me connect my current situation to where I want to be. The short term and then long term goals were connected. And then I started feeling very confident. I get this. I can go from here to there where I want to be.
So, if you had to give, three tips or strategies to anybody who's embarking on this preparation journey and the MBA application journey, what would those be?
Suggestions would be, first one is to be true with yourself. That will be very helpful in the GMAT prep. Because what I used to do, I was very overconfident in the paper. If you think you are getting 750 every time consistently, make sure take this as a thing which you will get 720. You won't be hitting that much because you are giving in a very controlled, friendly environment. The exam pressure, the clock, everything that adds pressure in the exam. So don't take anything for granted. Be true to yourself. What you are not getting, work on the gray area, work on your shortcomings, work on the weaknesses of. So first advice would be to be true to yourself in the preparation rather than going to test center and then realizing. So that way, so being true to yourself will help you prepare well. Second will be, don't underestimate yourself. Like I mentioned, just believe in your skills, your whatever you have done, and try to portray that first. But then the entire interview process, application process, I actually came to that point. Okay, I was very happy, with all the essays. Like I mentioned, I share my essays with my friends and colleagues. Okay, read this because I feel very happy when I'm reading them. Okay, I've done technological part, college business, NGO, singing, cricket. All those things come together, and that makes a good application. So second would be to try to sell your genuine self. That's it. Be genuine. Don't try to don't, as you mentioned, don't try to be a diversity candidate if you are not. And third would be the confidence. Confidence is the key because I remember when I went for the interview, mine was the first one at 10 a.m. in the morning, and there were some 3 or 4 people as well. Some were from real estate marketing. One guy had 770 GMAT. One was from a manager at PSU handling a project of a lot of crores or something like that. Time, right? You start feeling that, man, what have I done? So be confident what you have done, because if you are not confident about yourself, then you are going to harm yourself only. Your chances of getting into ISB or any other school which you're targeting. So be confident and don't. I would also add, don't over prepare. Just go with the flow. I remember you told me don't try to recite your answers or don't over prepare. So be confident and don't over prepare.
You. And what would be the criteria that you had in mind when you were choosing an admissions consultant?
Criteria. So I knew ISB was the B school. That was the only B school I was preparing for. So I didn't want to take any chances. So first thing which I also thought was about the financial part of it. Finances do come into play because you will start thinking that ki, ye to main kar sakta hu. Why do I need a consultant for that? Just telling me ki, anything, whatever I am doing, it will be, I can do that. I can write the essays. I've cracked GMAT. So as I had only one target B school, I didn't want to take any chance. So I wanted to go for the best. I did a lot of research on Google and LinkedIn. Then I got to know about GOALisB, and I went to the website, and I had 2 other options as well. I won't take the name. So I went to all the three. I shortlisted three consultants, basically 3 consultancy firms, and I went to their websites, their platforms like Quora or whatever they have. I tried to actually reach out the people which were there mentioned in the testimonials. So I actually pinged them on LinkedIn randomly. Just wanted to let them know that I have got this score. I'm targeting ISB. I got to know about yourself, about you from some portal or something like this. So I used to directly contact them. So I wanted the real feedback. So I got in touch with a lot of people, got good feedback about GOALisB. But then coming to the financial part, so it was also the costliest. So other consultancy firms were giving me like 20% off, 25% off based on the profile. You have got good score. One of them told me that I was from the Young Technical Leader program for Airtel. I was shortlisted under that. So he told me it's a brilliant program. You can easily get into ISB. But then when I had a call with you told me you have a okay profile, but it needs some polishing. We need to work on it. So I can't guarantee you, but there are high chances. So that is where I thought, ki, okay, she's giving me genuine feedback rather than selling me the dreams. Yeah, it will be easy. You can get into it. So which is where I thought, okay, even if it's costly, I'll go for this consultancy firm because at least she's giving me the true feedback. There is some room for improvement. It still needs some polishing. Your profile is okay. Others were saying it's brilliant. You have done this. It was all like they were telling me that you can easily get into it, ISB. So that was one thing which I helped me choose GOALisB. And also when I talked to those people from the LinkedIn profiles on Quora, right? So they told me that Shruti is a one-man army. You will be directly contacting or you will be directly working with her. Whereas the other consultancy firms, after talking to the directors, once you have signed up for them, then you will be assigned to some XYZ consultant who will be there in the team. So it's also based on your luck, like because you won't be knowing the person firsthand, right? Whereas with Shruti, you'll be directly working with her. So again, that made my choice easier. Okay, I know the person. I know I'll be directly working with her, and be it because I thought it's only all or nothing game. I don't have other choices like where I can try out my luck or say foreign colleges or IIMs. I thought if it's like a all or nothing game, let's go with the best option we have. So that is how I came to this solution. What I would also like to add is the relationship which we have is was not just up to the point up to where I was done with my application. So I was very frank with you. I could come up to you with my job applications as well. I could ask you, ma'am, which offer should I take? I had two offers, like from product management firm. Actually helped me tell you all what I have done. You knew the real things about me, whatever I was trying to tell you were true. So we could actually capture that into the essays.